Some great news for Social Security beneficiaries. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, so something just happened that I don't think any of us ever would have guessed would actually happen, and it just so turns out to be some pretty good news for Social Security beneficiaries. So that's exactly what I want to talk about and focus on right here in the video, so let's get into it and discuss what just hit the wire and how this may impact your monthly benefits going forward. Let's get right into it. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as I am your one and only daily advocate, and I'm doing all the research each and every day and watching everything very, very closely, so when important information just like what we're covering right here in this video hits the wire, I can be here for you, breaking it down and letting you know how this is going to impact you, your benefits, your money, and anything else going forward. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll continue to be here for you every single day with all the latest updates and keeping you updated with everything going on during this very busy time. All right, thanks again. Subscribe down below, and let's get into the details of this and talk about what just hit the wire that probably none of us ever would have guessed or suspected. All right, so let's get into the details. But really fast, I want to throw this out there. If you've been watching the videos here on the channel for any length of time, I just have to throw this out there. I called this a long time ago. Earlier this year, I've been saying this all along. Sometime before the midterm election, I would not be shocked one bit if Congress comes out and tries to scramble to get some type of piece of legislation done to secure better benefits or do something to reform Social Security. If you've been hearing me talk about this for a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been saying this all year long. Something including the Social Security 2100 or the SSI Restoration Act or a focused stimulus check or something like this to focus on fixed income beneficiaries, because they know as well as we do that Social Security and all these fixed income benefits encompass about 70 million people. That's a lot of voters, right? Well, let's talk about what just hit the wire, because this is kind of interesting and it's falling perfectly in line with what we pretty much anticipated. All right, so here's what it comes down to. Just the other day, the CPC, which stands for Congressional Progressive Caucus, in other words, in the House of Representatives, a handful of people, it's about 100 different representatives, by the way, they drafted a letter to all of their Democratic colleagues calling on them to support and vote on the Social Security 2100. Guess when? Yeah, between now and the midterm elections, so that they can prove to the American people that they are doing something to reform benefits and ultimately follow through with their promises. Pretty interesting, right? This is a real thing. This is a true letter. They drafted the CPC, like I said, and they sent it out to all of their Democratic colleagues, calling on them to support the Social Security 2100. Now remember, we've talked about the Social Security 2100 many times here on the channel. We've talked about many different aspects of this thing. This also includes the guaranteed minimum benefit of 125% of the federal poverty line. They want to adjust the way that the annual cost of living adjustment is calculated, going from the CPIW to the CPIE. There's also some provisions within there to increase solvency for the program, raise taxes on higher income individuals with income over $400,000. There's a whole bunch of different things. There's about a dozen different provisions within the Social Security 2100. So, kind of interesting, right? That all of a sudden they came up with this great brainiac idea that all of a sudden before the midterm elections, they want to get something done here to help out fixed income beneficiaries. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It'd be pretty nice, right? It would be certainly pretty nice. But at the end of the day, this is what it's coming down to. So the whole idea behind this is they want to bring this bill to the floor, vote on it, and pass it before the midterm elections. Guess what? The midterm elections are not that far away, right? We've been talking about this for a while now. Way back in January and February of this year, I've been talking about the midterm elections. I've been saying it's coming fast, and here we are. We're only a couple months away at this point. It is coming super fast, right? We know as well as they do, time goes fast, and they are notoriously very slow for everything that they do, right? So, kind of interesting. Here's what would be nice about it. To be real with you, the Social Security 2100, it's good, but it's not the best bill in the world. There's a much better piece of legislation out there. that are on the table and that Congress has at their possession right now to actually reform and raise benefits and to do a bunch of other things, including like the SSI Restoration Act. Again, they've also talked about this before as well, moving the Social Security 2100 in tandem alongside, parallel to the SSI Restoration Act through Congress simultaneously. Now, I'm going to be real with you. For those of you receiving SSI, I did not see any mention of the SSI Restoration Act in this letter, okay? So they did draft a letter. If you want to look it up, by all means, feel free to look it up. It was just sent out a day or so ago. So feel free to look that up if you want to read the letter for yourself. But this is a real thing. It was from the CPC, Congressional Progressive Caucus, and it was sent over to the basically the entire Democratic Party. So this is a real thing, but when it comes down to it, yes, it sure would be nice to do all these things with this Social Security, raise benefits, reform the way that it's performed and things like this, raise those benefits up and calculated the annual cost of living adjustment, all kinds of things like this. Yes, that would be nice. But is this the type of fix that everybody needs right now? Now, again, the way that Congress is looking at this is they're saying, if we do this for the people now, we could almost guarantee a vote from about 70 million people. Now, again, obviously, not everyone's gonna vote for them or do whatever. By the way, I'm not here taking political sides. I'm not here telling you what to do with your voting. That's not my business. You can do whatever you want. I'm not here to persuade anybody. I'm simply telling you this is the idea behind it. If this wasn't what their intentions were, then why would they want to do it before the midterm elections? I mean, let's be real with ourselves. We know their intentions. They want to do it to, secure votes, and that's fine. All parties do it. They always have, always will. But the fact of the matter is we know what their intentions are. If they really wanted to help out older adults, people with disabilities, fixed income beneficiaries of Social Security and all these programs, I think we could probably find some better ways to do it than pass a piece of legislation that, yes, it does have some pretty good things in it, but at the end of the day, is not the perfect fix. I think we all know that. The Social Security 2100, it's good, but it's not great, okay? It's not like the best piece of legislation out there. So when it comes down to it, this is what they want to do, which, by the way, there was recently a poll that was sent out asking the American people, would they support expanding Social Security? Here's what the interesting part is. They actually referred to this in their letter. So here's what it comes down to. According to this new poll, 83% of people would be in favor of expanding Social Security. Within that 83%, 86% of those respondents were Democrats, 84% of the respondents were Republicans, and 79% of the respondents were independents. So you can see here, unanimously, there's a lot of people who are in support of expanding Social Security. Well, that's exactly what the Social Security 2100 does, right? It expands it. But one more thing I want to throw out there as well. The provisions within the Social Security 2100 only last 5 years. And then guess what? They sunset. That's it. Done. Out of here. 5 years, it's out of here. So that's not a good thing, right? So what happens in 5 years from now when all of a sudden they pull the rug? Uh-oh. Now what happens, right? Not a good thing. So that's one of the major downfalls of the Social Security 2100. So anyway, this is something that they did. Now, another thing that they also cited in their letter as well, there was other, within the same poll that I just told you about as far as the percentages, there was also another poll within that asking people who would be opposed to actually reforming Social Security, to expanding Social Security. Sorry, let me say that again. Within the poll, asking how many people would be opposed to not expanding Social Security. Does that kind of make sense? Anyway, it came in at 68%. In other words, basically, long story short, I apologize. I'm having a hard time explaining this last part here. Basically, what it comes down to is 68% of the people would not be in support of not expanding Social Security. Essentially what it comes down to, if that kind of makes sense. So anyway, the fact of the matter is a lot of people are in support of expanding Social Security and ultimately raising benefits for millions of beneficiaries. One more thing I want to point out as well. They are also referring to raising the Social Security retirement age up to 70. So basically anybody born between like 1978, basically between 1960 and 1978, or anybody born after 1978, the full retirement age at that point would be 70 years old. So again, that's something else that's being considered as well. As of right now, the full retirement age is 67. You probably know that. But anyway, just a few more things that I want to point out that were in this article and the information that was sent out. So anyway, we'll see what happens here. The midterm elections are not that far away. Let's see, can they do it or do they not? Well, Only time will tell, right? I'll keep you posted as I do get more details, but this is a real thing. A new letter that was just sent out by the Congressional Caucus in the House of Representatives urging all the Democrats to get on board and to get this Social Security 2100 passed before the midterm elections. It'd be nice if they wrote some kind of letter talking about some kind of monthly checks or some kind of raise immediately to benefits, or maybe a $200 raise. Oh, that'd be pretty nice, right? Or maybe even a stimulus check. That'd be pretty nice as well. But that was not cited in the letter. Anyway, hope this one helps you out. Of course, as I do get more details on this, of course, I'll be right here for you, breaking it all down. So make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss any videos going forward. Also, feel free to share this video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out some of the other thousands of videos right here on the channel. There's a lot going on right now, and I'm here for you to keep you posted with what is actually going on during this very busy time. All right, thanks again, enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.